Today I'm going to be demonstrating how to replace the struts of a Volvo XC-90. This is a 2002 to 2014 model, so any model between 2002 and 2014 should work. For this demonstration, we're going to be using a 13mm socket, an 18mm socket, and then a 21mm box end wrench. If you're replacing your strut and you're trying to replace the coils or the spring of your strut, you're going to want to bring a HG-76K or a C-clamp. But in this demonstration, we're not going to be using those. We do have them on deck, but we're not going to be showing how to use them. Now that's the car. First, you're going to want to remove your wheels. You're going to need a 19mm socket and ratchet to get rid of those, or a pneumatic impact wrench. Once you remove all the lug nuts, right, you have 5 lug nuts holding your wheel. You're gonna get to your brake rotor. You're gonna want to use your 18mm to remove this spring right here. This is attached to the strut. This black structure is the strut. Now, as I said, we're gonna be using 18mm on this. Just attach it to your ratchet. And there's plenty of tools that you can be using for this. We're using an 18mm socket to open this part. We have the sway bar attached to this little metal rod, 18mm for the top of it, which is attached to the strut. We already have it loosened, or we already previously removed it, so it's not going to be as difficult for me. Hold on. And I just never seen it on here. I think it was for, yeah, I think that was I just don't know. Another tool you can use for this, because there are different types of bolt assemblies on the strut for the XC-90, is you can use a CTA 7466 tool and a different kind of ratchet, which has like a hole in the middle. And what that allows you to do is you can put a thing in between the middle of the socket and hold the screw still. But in our case, we don't need to use any of those. Okay, so we'll be fine. Pull it down, pull it out. There we go. After we remove that bit, you grab your 21mm box end wrench, fit it in over this side, and grab your, was it an 18mm? Yes, 13mm. All right, grab your 18mm, put it on the right side, right, like so. Make sure your ratchet's on the off position. Start ratcheting away. We're gonna want to remove the top one first, over the bottom one, because the bottom one is going to be holding in the entire caliper assembly,
I saw it, bro. I saw it.
the brake assembly, while the top one is removed. And we're going to want to be especially careful since we have the brake lines. We have other important lines like the what was it, AMC line, that are very, they're not made out of metal, they're made out of rubber or other softer materials, and they can easily be broken, especially if you put these heavy things hanging from them, like this caliper or the strut. So we're going to be very careful about those. Just remove the top bolt, remove that, only the bottom one, there. Okay, so we have just about gotten the second bolt out from the bottom. Let's spread this guy out. Alright, we can remove. Now we can remove the strut assembly from the brake caliper. This is the point where we grab our 13mm socket.
So funny when we started. He was
over here. Can't find the marking on it, but it's 13mm stress. Put that on the top of the car, underneath the hood. You're gonna see one of these on both sides. For the rear strut assembly, those are actually gonna be inside the car, but for the front assembly or whatnot, they're in the hood. Grab your 13mm. In our case, there are only 2 of these bolts, but normally you're going to see 3. You want to remove your strut, set your ratchet off, and start.
Bleeding to period too.
Start working on it. When you are taking this out, you're going to want to leave all of them loosened, but you're going to want to leave especially one inside so your strut does not fall and break any of those weaker material made lines on the bottom next to your brakes and your assembly, right? You don't want to damage these on your way down, so you're just going to want to loosen them. And then we're going to get back when we have finished removing these nuts. Go. All right, so I've removed one of them. I'm about to remove the second one. What you're usually going to want to do is, here, put this down. You're going to want to have somebody else or yourself pick this up. It's very heavy, so when you drop the last nut, you should be prepared for that. Got it. Oh. Okay, this is the strut, finally removed. This thing is extremely dangerous, especially if you're trying to replace the coil. But if you're trying to put a new one in, it's going to be the same process as it was to remove it, just in reverse. But now that you have a strut, if you want to replace the coil, you could bring it to your Brannick 7600 or your C-clamp to compress the spring, replace another spring. When you're deconstructing a strut, you're going to want to replace or rebuild it in the same order that you took it apart. Now that we have this removed, I'm going to be putting it back in. But yeah, that was a demonstration. So that's how you remove your strut for the front 2 struts on a Volvo XC-90. All right,
Press play.
To install a strut, put in the bottom part first, right? Try to
I've never had
get
a
it
time
through safely without damaging these cords. All right, now that we've gotten it through, make sure the flat side's facing out. Lift up through the assembly. So to thread it through the top, and remember, keep your flat side facing out of the car. In order to push up, have someone else help you preferably. Try to there's 2, there's 3. Now the strut is pretty heavy, so you gotta be pretty wary of that. But once you get the threads linked in, you can have a buddy or yourself screw in one of the things. Then you can grab your ratchet, tighten them in.
I just said it's already off.